on a personal level, I'm very pleased to sponsor both the projects. The project that we talked about, the solarization project, and the other project, which is the which is the daycare center. But on a personal level, I'm more happy regarding one project that we are sponsoring, which is the daycare center. And I'm saying this because this particular project of daycare center actually addresses an issue which is very close to my heart. And that issue is the gender diversity and the participation. We all know that half of Pakistan's population comprises of women folk, but we are also aware that this half is not truly represented, in all walks of life. Therefore, this needs to be changed. What we need to do is to somehow ensure that at least in the crucial areas, in the important areas, we increase induction of this female folk. So one of that area is education. I was extremely happy when I heard that a request has come in from Dr. Sarosh and NED University team about this daycare center. And we very quickly decided within our company, among our management committee and the team, that we would support this initiative which is going in this direction of gender diversity and providing support. Let me just tell you that I'm 100% sure this particular initiative of daycare center will not only attract and retain your female staff members, but this is going to further your mission of NED University for imparting education to others. This is going to go a long way. I've noticed this in various multinationals that they have, received multiple positive, dimensions of creating this, making this a small change in, going about this initiative. So let me just take you to what I said a year ago. Almost, I think it was in December 2019, if I'm not mistaken, that I spoke on the NED Alumni Day. And I shared my humble insights with you as to what is needed for us to do something to enable this nation to grow. We all understand that for any nation to develop, grow, and prosper, it has to rely on very strong pillars, and education is perhaps the most important after health. So I discussed on that day certain actions that NED must take. I'm very happy to see today that most of the things Dr. Sarosh and his team promised in December 19, most of them are either under process, or at least I can see a side of it, and there is a very positive sign that they will be undertaking. So let me just throw some light on few items that Engro would like to request from institutes in general and NED Institute in particular. There is a misalignment, in my opinion, between the corporate sector and the educational institutions. I will not blame anyone. I will not blame either the academia or the corporate sector, but I will throw light as to what can be done now. This misalignment is related to the research topics which are being studied compared to the struggle that is going on in the corporate world. So the topics which are more recent right now compared to what's being researched. If coordination can be improved, committees can be made. And when I say committee, I'm not fan of ad hoc committees or just talking or lip service. I'm talking about the committees that we have seen in NED, or in this case, where people come forward and every member takes a part. So I'm talking about that particular kind of steering committee. In my opinion, this mismatch of the research topics must be addressed upfront. The second thing that is hurting us is the agility and the speed. The agility and the speed which is required in industry needs to be understood. I fully understand that when we research in an institute, it takes some time. But the corporate sector needs to come out, and the corporate sector needs to find out as to how they can patronize the institutes in accelerating this speed. So both, whether it's the corporate sector or the academia, this misalignment of whether it's the topic or is the agility needs to somehow bridged, and we need to move forward so that we work in the same way we see in the Western worlds. I'm very positive and I'm extremely happy and delighted to see the progress and the commitment of Dr. Sarosh in particular and the NED University team in this regard. And I'm very hopeful that he's taking notes right now. As I see him, he'll definitely going to work something about it. So I would also like to utilize this opportunity to talk a little bit about the company that I'm representing today, which is Engro. As you all know, Engro is a homegrown local organization. Desi company hai, hamari apni company. I am in this company for last 30 years, and this company is existing for almost 60 years now in Pakistan. It's started from being a very small fertilizer company owned by Exxon to now a huge giant conglomerate, alhamdulillah, which is looking after 6 different segments. So this company is firstly managing fertilizer business, and we have one of the largest fertilizer trains in the world. That's number one. And we have, as you know, a huge plant in Turkey, interior of Sindh. Our second business is petrochemical, which is based in Port Qasim. We make polyvinyl resin, and we are doing some level of integration. And inshallah, very soon you will hear about us announcing another project with regards to petrochemicals. That's the second. The third segment, or the third vertical that we have is Engro Foods. But recently, a couple of years ago rather, we have, sold our share to some extent to a Dutch company, President Campina, with an intent of ensuring that the company grows exponentially, and that's happening. So Engro Foods and President Campina enter into some kind of a deal, and they bought out our shares also, and that company is there, and Engro still has share in it. And you must have heard of Allpers and Omo and Tarang, and that's a brand. So we have fertilizer, petrochemical, foods. Then the fourth chain is Engro Vopec, which is storage terminals. The fifth one is energy that I'm heading. And now, very recently, we have also gone into tower business with respect to telecommunications. So whether it's Jazz Towers, Telenor, Watino, whatever, we are into that business also, which is telecommunication, because we feel that the name of the game now is digitalization and communication. Why did I mention all of this to you? I'm not interested in boasting about Engro or saying something great. We are very humble people. We are, alhamdulillah, grounded. The reason why I mention it to you is that I would like to see more students coming up with projects that, in the areas that we are doing. I would particularly like to see females coming up and applying for jobs. They should not restrict themselves for the jobs in Karachi. We must encourage them. We must talk to their parents to allow the females to go to the sites like we have in Dharki, we have in Thar, Port Qasim, Muridke. We have got huge world scale projects over there, and there is hardly any female. You know, I've been talking to my colleagues, Mr. Shahab Qadir, he's the CEO of Engro Qadirpur Limited, he's the CEO of Siddiq Sons Limited. He's heading 3-4 companies, he's sitting here. I have Farooq Nazim Shah, who's an alumni of NED. He's the Vice President of Engro Energy Services Limited, heading another unit. So, all these guys, I've spoken to them, and they tell me that the percentage of gender diversity is not beyond 7% or 8%. This is not acceptable. We need to take it to at least 15%, if not more, and we can't wait for this for years. I would like to at least increase this induction, and this ratio must be healthy, which is not at this moment, and I'm talking about my company, but I would like to talk about companies in general. So in the end, that's my request to you. If you want, my communication team, Shame, Kuratulan, Ikta, they are sitting here, they would get in touch with you if you want to have some kind of a seminar, some kind of a road show, anything which would encourage females to come forward. And it is not Engro branding. It is just to ensure that the 50% of the population of Pakistan, which is not mobilized, we need to somehow provoke this thinking. And therefore, I'm with you, and I would like to champion this with you guys. This university must come forward, and the females should be encouraged to even work after marriage. We have a system where we will not only give them job, but looking at our culture, if they decide not to continue work after marriage, we would allow them to take a restart even after a couple of years of gap also. We will do everything possible which is conducive with our culture, with our environment, with our value system. I do not want to enforce on you the Western culture. So whatever suits our culture, we will do everything possible to blend into this, and in that environment, make sure that the ladies come and the females come and they become part of the workforce.